Hi again then guys, and so we've got another special projects build for you today, and this time it's not a replica, this is a completely custom build. And basically the idea behind this particular special project is, I know a lot of you guys are a big fan of the High End Performance Infiniti G37. It's a pretty cool looking car, it's got the fully detailed interior with the roll cage, etc. And if you actually look at the car, it actually looks quite a lot like a GT3 machine, but without the stickers and livery. So in effect, a GT3 base model. So I thought to myself, why not make an Infiniti G37 GT3 car using the High End Performance G37? So that's exactly what I've done, and as it turns out, it makes a very, very good GT3 car. Not only in terms of spec, but also, more importantly, in the way it drives. Now, visually, there's pretty much nothing you can do to this car of note. Obviously, you can't upgrade the bodywork. I've painted it chrome and fitted black rims, and that's about it, really. Unfortunately, you can't put a racing number on this one, which I would have done, obviously, to make it a base model looking vehicle. But as is, it still looks kind of like a GT3 test prototype, which is still pretty cool. As far as choosing the colour on the car, you do need to recognise that the bonnet and boot will always be a slightly darker shade of whatever colour you choose, which is kind of annoying, but chrome is one of the least noticeable colours in that regard. So, of course, being no visual tuning to do, we'll go straight over to the tuning garage for the mechanical setup and then take it out to Laguna Seca to see what it can do. Now, as far as the mechanical build on this particular model, I wanted to keep the spec to be as realistic as possible, really, to the GT3 class, and also as PP relevant as possible. Now, I've gone for racing soft tyres, but that's down to personal preference, of course. For the suspension, we've got the ride height as low as possible. Springs we've increased to 1625 and 1450. Dampers to 5, anti-roll to 7. Camber on 2.5 with neutral toe. For the gearbox, an auto setting of 205. Then for the individual gears, we've got 3.5, 2.3, 1675, 1.3, 1050 and 850 with a final drive of 3.2. For the diff, the lowest initial torque, highest acceleration and a braking sensitivity of 10. If you reduce that down to 5, the handling will be a bit more loose. If you increase it up to more around the region of 20, it will stiffen it up even more. So it depends, as always, on your personal preference. Now, this one does have an oil change. We've gone for the Stage 3 engine tune and the race exhaust. And the reason for that is to increase the max redline to make it sound and perform more like an actual racing car. We've left the turbo stock, though, and we've reduced the power down to 595 horsepower. We've got the full downforce, the full weight loss package, and then we've boosted it up to 1300 kilos with a ballast, which we've put all the way to the back to get it slightly closer to that 50-50 weight split to bring us up to the actual weight and power range of a real GT3 vehicle. And, happily, it's also very PP relevant at 575. So, let's finally take it out to the track to see what all this can do. Now, overall, I can't actually say, to be completely honest, how competitive this car would be against, say, the RJN Nissan GTR or the SLS GT3 or the Z4 GT3. But, in testing on its own, it certainly feels like it could be a very competitive machine. The handling is very, very good, which actually really impresses me about this car, because often show cars or tuner cars tend to be pretty good in a straight line, but they tend to focus more on looking the part rather than actually backing that up with actual performance, especially around the track. The good thing about this car is it does back up the look, and the great thing about the look is it actually makes it look like a convincing GT3 machine. It has a similar body kit, similar air intakes and aerodynamic appendages, the big rear wing, even a roll cage, so it actually looks like a convincing GT3 car. Overall, the best point about this car is definitely the drivability and the handling. It's very, very easy to drive and very fun to drive. There's tons of grip. The handling is very similar to a touring car, I would say. As far as straight line performance, it's got a pretty decent amount of torque, and it's pretty strong in a straight line as well. So if you decide to use this custom tune, obviously I hope you find it fun and potentially competitive if you use it for racing. And if you'd like to keep up with tunes like this when they come out, be sure to subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.